Okay, so hi everybody and welcome to another ProcessMaker webinar. Today we're going to talk about the integration between Adobe Sign and ProcessMaker, which will basically allow you to implement electronic signatures to your document workflows. Please feel free to send all of your questions using the questions interface on GoToWebinar, and we'll be answering and solving all of the doubts you may have right after presenting the live demonstration. So I think we're ready to get started here. Let me welcome Pablo Barroso here. He's a training specialist at ProcessMaker. Hi, Pablo. Good morning. How are you today? Very excited.
I'm fine. Hello to everyone. It's nice to see you in a new webinar here about Adobe Sign.
Perfect. So you probably remember me from past webinars. Anyway, in case you don't, I'm Giovanni Lopez, training manager at ProcessMaker, and well, I don't want to steal the spotlight today. Today is all about electronic signatures and BPM. So let me begin here. So ProcessMaker, let's kick off this webinar with a little description about our flagship product, ProcessMaker, just in case this is the first time you heard about it. So ProcessMaker, how does it work? Well, this is pretty much the standard for all BPM solutions. We have designed ProcessMaker around this methodology. The first step is to build or automate your processes. Business analysts and subject matter experts can build a process model using our BPM 2.0 compliant process modeler by simply dragging and dropping process elements onto the process map. Remember, as you easily draw your process, ProcessMaker is doing all of the heavy lifting behind the scenes to create a software model that will entirely run online. Once your process is built and activated, users can begin immediately running cases. Now, once your process has been running for a while, your managers will insist on having access to reports and dashboards, which show them how the process is performing against key performance indicators and service level agreements. ProcessMaker includes a suite of business intelligence tools, which make this type of analysis easy and extremely variable. And finally, once your reports have identified the issues and ways to improve your processes, you can go ahead and do that. Optimize your processes. Okay, so that was a brief introduction to ProcessMaker. Let me talk to you also about the ProcessMaker connector library. This connector library is a central repository of commonly used connectors, controlled and constantly updated by ProcessMaker, that can be downloaded and customized within any ProcessMaker instance. You just need to browse and select the specific connector you wish to download and copy it into your ProcessMaker workspace. As easy as it sounds. So today we're going to be using some of these connectors, the Adobe Sign connectors, and you're going to see how these connectors are going to make integrating ProcessMaker with Adobe Sign really easy. Now, since ProcessMaker 3.2, ProcessMaker comes with pre-built connectors for Alfresco, DocuSign, Sugar CRM, Zimbra, of course, Adobe Sign, and other solutions listed on your screen. So, for example, if I need one of my processes to be able to create a Google Calendar event, I just need to download the proper connector, configure it as desired, and boom, we just integrated Google Calendar and ProcessMaker. And that's something we have already shown in a past webinars. You know that you can find all of our recorded webinars on the ProcessMaker website. Okay, let me talk to you about Adobe Sign and our Adobe Sign connectors. Okay, so what's Adobe Sign? Adobe Sign is a cloud-based enterprise-class e-signature service that lets you replace paper and ink signature processes with fully automated electronic signature workflows. With it, And you can easily send, sign, track, and manage signature processes using a browser or mobile device. And you can use turnkey integrations and APIs to include e-signature workflows in your enterprise apps and systems of record, which is actually what we're going to review today during the live demonstration. Now, as I was telling you, we have a number of pre-built connectors to integrate its outstanding, the outstanding ProcessMaker BPM engine with this amazing e-signature solution. Now that ProcessMaker has become an official Adobe Sign partner, it is possible to combine the power of ProcessMaker with the elegance of Adobe Sign's electronic signature platform in order to cut down on the time it takes to complete approvals, to close deals, and of course to submit forms. By sending documents automatically from your process, our integration reduces turnaround time while ensuring accuracy and completeness. Adobe Sign's effortless document management paired with ProcessMaker's powerful BPM platform also promotes increased accountability and traceability, which means that you post-audit inspections and get approvals quickly. Okay, now let me pass controls to my friend Pablo here, who's going to give you more detailed information about how to integrate this enterprise class BPM and e-signature solutions.
Hello to everyone. I am Pablo. I'm going to be doing this demo. Well, first of all, you can see in the screen here the process, and this process consists of three important tasks: to send an agreement using the templates of Adobe Sign, then check the status of this agreement, and then send the Adobe Sign reminders. That's why if you see here in the three of them, in these tasks, we explicitly indicate the actions that will be taken in this process. So, in general, we are going to use these service tasks that implement some endpoints, some connectors, and bringing in this process, we are going to have a fully completed employee onboarding process. It means that I'm going to prepare a contract, send this agreement, then check, make some adjustments, check the status, and then send the approval or send an email of confirmation. That is going to be the main objective of this process. But if we talk about connectors, it means that we have to talk also about how we use these tools for this process. So let's go here to the admin. I'm going to log in. Well, a connector is a tool that enables me to access to a service, an external service. In this case, it is Adobe Sign. Adobe Sign will be my external service. So let me remind you that this is a benefit for our enterprise version. And well, you are going to have some configurations. You are going to require these configurations to make connectors work. So I'm going to show you here that you can also find other type of connectors by clicking on download. And you are going to see that apart from Adobe Sign, you can find a collection of connectors that ProcessMaker offers to you. Among them, you find DocuSign, Alfresco, Google Calendar, Google Sheets. I invite all of you, all the audience, to check more information on our wiki page, to extend your knowledge and bridge this knowledge between ProcessMaker and an external service. So in the case of Adobe Sign, you can download from here, from our library, and just as you do this type of downloading, you are going to find the authentication that you require. So it's easy to see that if I am going to click here and I'm going to start this authentication, you will see the logo, and also I can click here the access token, and then I'm going to be able to access with your credentials of Adobe Sign to your account. Okay, so and then you can proceed with the electronic signatures that you require. So basically, is that it's not something difficult. It just requires your credentials. Okay, I mean your main account of Adobe Sign, and then ProcessMaker is going to make the bridge between you and Adobe Sign. Since I have this, it means that now I am ready to use this type of tools. It means my connectors. So let's visit for a while my process here. I'm going to come here and click on my process of Adobe Sign. Well, things that you have to remember. One thing, here I'm going to reduce the size. As you can see, there is this advantage to increase and reduce the sizes of your process. Okay. Now, if you see the process, first you fill out the application. So a person who is going to be ready to apply for any type of job or whatever is going to send this application. Then we're going to move to a break of a time, an intermediate time of 30 days. Then we approve the employee contract. Well, I'm going directly to this part, which is the most important. We suppose that it's approved, and it goes here to the prepared contract. At this point, we are talking just about user tasks. We are talking about things that we are doing, that we are able to do with the ProcessMaker design. Now, here, we are going to send this contract, and look at this. I'm going to choose an agreement here because Adobe Sign has its own templates, or you can create them. So I'm going to bring that resource to complement my process. If I see the configuration here, you're going to see the structure that I'm using. Well, I'm going to explain some details here. As you know, we are going to find here the endpoint that allows my access, then the method that I'm going to use to execute this action, and finally the authentication. Okay. Additionally, you will find that also in some cases, depending on the service that you're using, you will require a body request, a JSON request. In general, all this structure of elements, the method, the endpoint, the body request, all of them are going to be combined and will enter, well, will be transferred to Adobe Sign. We also need a token. This is very important. If you remember, we talk about our authentication, and you will remember that the token is part of many of these external applications communications. I mean the API. No? Let me focus on here. I use an authentication to obtain a token. This allows me to communicate with an external service. And then in this service task, I'm going to use some configurations, some extra configurations, like the method, the endpoint, the body request, and so on, because these elements are going to be relevant to execute the action. In this case, the connector, and the action that the connector is send agreement. We send all that information, and then we are going to receive that information here in a response configuration, okay? So then you can see the extra configurations for that. So we are communicated with that API, we receive that information, we treat it, and in this section, you will see detailed how we are treating this information, okay? In some cases, you are going to see here that we can also test, okay? It's possible to test my connector previous to the real execution for what we want. Let me remember that depending on the connector, because the connector represents that action that we are going to do with Adobe Sign, depending on that connector, we are going to obtain a different endpoint and a different method, okay? That's how it works. In this case, we send the agreement. Then, depending if we have some obstacle with this procedure, we can go to check the agreement status. Then we go back, we check the status, and if it's right, we are going to send an email, okay? This email is going to confirm that this person has been accepted with the contract, and we confirm all these processes. Since that happens, it means that this person has been hired. If not, he's going to be refused. But if the status is not correct, we are going to send Adobe reminders, okay? So it's another action that I will use with these service tasks. Well, so these three of them that allow me to communicate with Adobe Sign services are service tasks. You have seen all the configuration, and now you are ready to execute the process that you require. Let's see at the end. We are going to open the case here and click on the process. Now, this is a typical user task with the Dynaform, so I'm going to fill in the information that I require. So I'm going to add all of this information, okay? It's going to be the first name, the last name, well, it's up depending on that. Since I filled in all the fields for this Dynaform, I'm going to submit the approval. And now I'm going to prepare the contract. And notice this, until now we are in a user task, just that. It's a user task, and with that I am importing these templates, as you can see here. I'm importing those templates from Adobe Sign, and here I define the signer and approver for that case. It means that Paul Klee is going to be the approver, and David Hume is going to be the signer for this case. Then we go to service task. This is going to be for this, and then we are showing the template that we use for the approval of the contract that we have proposed. These contracts are predefined. They are already made in Adobe Sign, okay? And then, well, some of these fields have been filled in, so the person who is going to use this field is going to fill in that information. And finally, okay, so this is the idea of using Adobe Sign. It's just using all the services available. We use some service tasks. You then implement connectors in them, and then you're ready to communicate and consume the services you require, in this case, for the agreement that we are going to sign.
Okay, Pablo. So that was just perfect, Pablo. Thanks for that great demonstration. As you just seen, it's very easy to integrate ProcessMaker with Adobe Sign. You saw that we were using a couple of connectors in order to get some documents signed. You also saw how ProcessMaker and also Adobe Sign work with email notifications. So whenever a signer receives a new document, he's going to receive an email notification, and we're also confirming that the documents have been signed with all of the participants. Okay, now, my dear attendees, we'll give you a couple of minutes for you to submit all of your questions and doubts, and you can use the GoToWebinar questions interface. So let us know all of your questions, all of your doubts, and we're going to be solving them in a moment. Okay, so we have a couple of questions here. The first one reads, how to install the Adobe Sign connectors? Well, you have seen during the live demonstration, installing our Adobe Sign connector is as simply as downloading it from the ProcessMaker connector library. So you just need to select the connectors that you would like to use and just configure it as desired. Then it's ready to be used in your process maps using service tasks. Perfect. I have another question. Well, this is more a comment from my friend Mike. Okay, who's asking us? I can't see the Adobe Sign connector library on my connectors list. Okay, so as you may know, ProcessMaker Connectors is an enterprise plugin. And let me tell you that different plugin versions come with different connector libraries. So I will ask you to make sure that you have the latest version of our connectors plugin, and you can always contact our support team, and we'll be more than pleased of helping you upgrading your connectors plugin version. Okay, I have another question here. Can I call the same connector multiple times to have more than one document signed during the process? Well, as we were showing you, highly customized and complex workflows can be embedded with Adobe Sign's fully digitalized e-signature capabilities, right? At any point of the process. I mean, you can call the same connector multiple times. You can call different connectors on the same process. So basically, you can use connectors as you need. Okay, I have another question from my friend Anouk. Hello, can we integrate only Adobe Sign for digital signature? What about other open source free software available? Well, Anouk, let me tell you that we have presented the integration between ProcessMaker and DocuSign in a past webinar, so you can also use that solution. But let me also tell you that the connector library includes a set of pre-built connectors, but additionally, you can create your own connectors. So if you have another e-signature solution in mind to be integrated with ProcessMaker, and this solution offers a set of API connectors or maybe a REST API services, then you're going to be able to create your own connectors to integrate ProcessMaker with that solution. Okay, I have another question here. What about signers? Can multiple ProcessMaker users be configured as signers? Well, multiple ProcessMaker users can be selected as signers for any Adobe Sign template, saving you the trouble of having to fill out contact information for each individual. For example, in the example process that Pablo was showing, we selected a different user as a signer and then another one as the supervisor, right? So, or the approver. So as you saw, we can work with multiple ProcessMaker users in the same process. Another question here, can I integrate ProcessMaker with Adobe Sign and other solutions in the same process? Well, this is the same that I was mentioning before. ProcessMaker seamlessly integrates with other third-party applications, making it easy to rid your company of silos and increase the ROI of all your connected software. So basically, you can use connectors for different solutions in the same process map. Okay, another question here. I think this is a very important question. Does it work on the ProcessMaker mobile app? Well, let me tell you that you can use ProcessMaker's native mobile app to fill out and submit forms on the go. So basically, you're going to be filling out your forms, and then ProcessMaker is going to take care of all of the service tasks which are used to execute the ProcessMaker connectors that you're going to configure for Adobe Sign. So the answer is yes, it does work on the ProcessMaker mobile app. Okay, I have a number of questions from Vineet Kumar, who's asking for which department specifically software is applicable. Is it useful for process flow of the organization? Well, this is more like the general description of ProcessMaker. Vineet Kumar, well, I think we don't have enough time for describing all of the benefits that implementing BPM to your organization will bring. So let me invite you to take a look at our website at ProcessMaker.com. We have very useful videos there. We have some demo videos also there related to the integration between ProcessMaker and other solutions. Some quick start guides that will help you starting the journey of implementing BPM into your organization. Okay, so I think we have a question here. This is the last one. Let me take a look at it. Sorry, I was forgetting to answer this question, and this was the first one actually. I believe I may have not heard you mention this before, but what versions of Adobe Sign are supported? Well, basically, we work with the latest version of Adobe Sign. Since this is a cloud-based solution, you don't have to worry too much about the version that you're working with. But let me tell you that ProcessMaker always works with the latest stable version of Adobe Sign. Okay, so I think those are all of the questions that we have for today. Let me thank you for taking the time for attending this webinar. Me and my friend Pablo are really pleased to meet you in this kind of event. So hopefully we're going to see you in an upcoming webinar. You can see that we're going to be talking about events. We're going to be providing you with all of the information about the BPM events that can be used in ProcessMaker and the when, how, and why of using events in your processes. That's going to take place on August the 21st, as you can see on your screen, and you can go to ProcessMaker.com in order to register for this webinar. So thanks again, and we're going to see you next time.